You see a bunch of staged court cases, staged, depositions. You see the things that you are doing that you thought they wouldn't think that you would do, they did know that you would do that. That's why they're doing what they're doing.
Are they scared that I'm going to bring it to the public, or maybe it's within their plan that Akademiks going to bring certain things to the public? I can't tell. I really don't know. So when Nicki says, no, Ak, they know what you're going to do. They're just using you as the loudest mouthpiece for a distraction, though. Again, I know some of y'all want to say, no, Nicki's sick, Nicki's whatever, but I can't dismiss it.
Man, sometimes I wish with that sound effect, I could get that down from Law and Order. I might have to add that. Anyway, Nicki Minaj went on Twitter Spaces and she mentioned DJ Akademiks. And she said Akademiks is a puppet for Rock Nation. And so we're going to see what Akademiks had to say about this. Y'all better like the video. You better subscribe. Let's get it.
Okay. First things first. Dear DJ Akademiks. DJ Akademiks, you are asking questions. You are asking logical questions and expecting logical answers. However, there is nothing logical in a game. Okay? There's nothing logical in these games. You understand? You are in a game that you never signed up to play. The people that are doing this are using you as a part of the game as just another distraction to the docket. You see a bunch of staged court cases, staged, depositions. You see the things that you are doing that you thought they wouldn't think that you would do, they did know that you would do that. That's why they're doing what they're doing. They want you to go on the internet and scream about them. Anything but anything but for the people to pay attention to them dockets. You see, the questions that you're asking are logical, but only if this were in a logical frequency. You are just a part of this game that those people are currently playing. They need the loudest voices to be irritated at the same time to get on social media to drown out the docket. They need to distract you. They need to distract my fans to drown out the docket.
Yo, chat, please. What do I gotta do? Do I gotta hit up Azalea Banks? We gotta get out of this group chat. Now, let me address what Nicki's saying. By the way, I want to make it clear. Obviously, for the Barbs and for anybody else, me and Nicki hasn't had the best relationship. We really haven't had a relationship at all. I think the last time we talked just wasn't friendly. It's whatever. I don't think she's dying to try to talk to me. I don't think I'm done talk to her. And that's important to say, because sometimes you'll get these people who are skeptical that think people are in cahoots. And if I was in cahoots with people, Nicki Minaj would be the last person. Okay, so it's like when you hear me say this, it's really because when you hear me say anything, it's because I'm like, I wish I could come on here and call her batshit crazy. And I would probably have a nice little field day. It would have been amazing. But then I've seen certain things where I'm like, I'm not going to come on here and be like, everything she's saying is true. But I'm like, yeah, I can't say nothing that she's saying is absolutely false, given what I've seen that the people she's talking about have done. That's reality. Now, to her comments. And I need the audience to hold me accountable. But to make sure I don't get cynical, if that makes sense. Because when Nicki says that, and I'm telling you, without looking at anything, I'm reacting live. If y'all could clip the whole thing, there's not like I'm researching. As she's talking about distraction, and we want the loudest voice, and I would guess like, and I suppose maybe I'm one of the loudest voices, maybe, I don't know. They want them to speak about certain things that could be a distraction. And usually I would say, nah, you're full of shit. Except, I want to keep going back to my first deposition with Rock Nation, where the moment that I told people what they were attempting to do to me, their lawyers said, tell Desiree this. And that was shocking. And what I took from that, honestly, was, oh, they're trying to sue me. They're trying to build some shit up. But maybe, I don't know. And again, I'm shooting from the hip here. Maybe as what Nicki's saying, no, they're involving you because they know you are a nigga who's gonna say everything online. And you are someone who could easily try to bring the conversation elsewhere while they still do other things subvertly. That's what I have to believe. Do y'all understand? Do I have to repeat it again? I will. In my perspective, what Nicki just said, it made slightly sense when she says, they're not that surprised that you're running your mouth. Because, yo, chat, I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. Yo, you know when there was some people on Twitter like, yo, you're editing your tweet mad times. I wrote those tweets driving away from the courthouse. Bro, you know, yo, you can't do nothing to Akademiks in secret, bro. I'm not gonna wait till I couldn't even wait till I get to the crib, bro. Nigga, yeah, go look at my story on Instagram. I drove past the police tweeting, my nigga. Like, I'm gonna let everybody know, world know. So that's why I was shocked. I'm like, if they know who I am, and then I seen there was a tweet that said, tell Desiree, are they scared that I'm going to bring it to the public? Or maybe it's within their plan that Akademiks going to bring certain things to the public. I can't tell. I really don't know. So when Nicki says, no, they know what you're going to do. They're just using you as the loudest mouthpiece for a distraction, though. Again, I know some of y'all want to say, no, Nicki's sick, Nicki's whatever. But I can't dismiss it. I can't. I cannot dismiss it. Am I losing the chat? Tell me. It appears to me that their association with Desiree Perez may have be what exactly Nicki's saying. Yo, you think you getting some exclusive shit, but they're using you as a distraction for the real shit. Yo, chat, I hate to cut it off here, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Nicki has she has a bigger bank account than me. I love the chat niggas, but the barbs are really in this. I kind of don't want to fight this fight. Respectfully. And don't call me a bitch, but I don't want to fight this fight. I'm kind of watching. It looks like Nicki is down to fight the fight. But I kind of want to say, like, Nicki, I'm not. You're on your own.
The things that you are doing that you thought they wouldn't think that you would do, they did know that you would do that. That's why they're doing what they're doing. They want you.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, that's the smartest thing Nicki said. The things that you're doing that you think they wouldn't think you're doing. Like, for example, I remember sitting in a deposition at first, I'm like, y'all really want to bring me into this? You know I got the biggest mouth, pause. I'm going to be the loudest person in media about this. I'm going to help expose you. Why would you want to even bring me into it? But what Nicki's saying is, to bring you in it is exactly the point. All right, Nicki, I don't need to hear you talk like Tyler. Yo, I believe Nicki. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, no matter what even I believe Rock Nation has done, I think that it's no way they're that evil. And I'm just surprised that nobody from that camp, they claim to be in touch with cultural shit, never come out and try to give some explanation or some type of understanding to people who truly support, them. And I think that's weird. That's absolutely weird. You get what I'm saying? So, of course, Nicki looks crazy when she's saying something when no one else is kind of like really standing on it.
Now, before I get into my commentary, I want to ask y'all a question. Do you think DJ Akademiks remembers when Nicki Minaj was threatening him? And I think her husband was threatening Akademiks, or she was saying, I'm going to get my husband on you. Do you think Akademiks remembers that? Because to me in this commentary, it sounds like Ak remembered that. Now, was he disrespectful? No. But it was almost like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm not going to lift up a finger to help you after the history me and you have had. He even went on to say, me and this woman have no relationship. That's very important. Okay, so this is what Akademiks was trying to say without pissing off the Barbs. Yes, I agree with some of your commentary, Nicki, but I'm not willing to stick my neck out on the line for your fight when I really don't even know what you fighting for. And that's why so many people keep trying to tell Nicki just come out with it. Now, her fans will say she has to protect herself. She can't say everything right now. But I think all of the Barbs have different definitions of what Nicki is trying to say every time she puts out a tweet or she does one of these cryptic spaces. Do I think Nicki Minaj is crazy? No. But she has to understand a lot of people think you crazy. And they thought that way before this Cardi B tweet where she was talking about Nicki's mental health issues. They thought that way before Nicki felt like Gucci Mane went on the Breakfast Club to talk about schizophrenia so they could subliminally diss her. Because you remember Charlamagne asked Gucci Mane, what do you think about celebrities going off? People thought that was about Nicki Minaj. And that's why Nicki was on Spaces the other day going at Charlamagne and kind of subtweeting Joe Budden. But people think she's crazy. Go look at my comments. Every time she speaks, people feel like she's talking in riddles. You have people in my comments saying every time she talks, it feels so cringe. It sounds like, she's in a movie or something like that, or a bad fairy tale. That's why people think you crazy, because it's like she has multiple personalities and she's trying to be so, I don't know, such a character that it turns off a lot of regular people who are not barbs. And I think the barbs need to understand that. And going back to what I said about Akademiks, you can tell in this commentary, he's confused too. He's like, I get it, but I don't get it. And so I did think this tweet was interesting because this was a Nicki Minaj fan. I'm assuming this is a barb. And she was explaining what Nicki was trying to say. So I'm going to read this to y'all and out in the commentary. And y'all tell me what y'all think. You're a distraction. I'm assuming she's talking about Akademiks. And that's exactly the point. They know that by constantly dragging you into court and getting cases dismissed, they don't even need to win. They just need to keep you reacting. It's about keeping you talking. The more time you spend proving you're being targeted by them, the more the conversation with your audience shifts away from their actual legal cases. Instead of your audience focusing on their court cases, your audience is focused on you and you're back and forth about being targeted by them. That's the whole play. So she's saying, instead of them talking about, the Rock Nation legal cases and the stuff going on with Desiree Perez, they're making clips about Akademiks, showing out in the deposition and stuff like that. She said, start discussing Rock Nation, Jay-Z, and Desiree Perez legal cases. But this is the thing. If DJ Akademiks started talking about the Rock Nation, Desiree Perez legal cases, y'all wouldn't care. Y'all would say, talk about YoungBoy. Talk about whatever crazy thing happened in hip hop. Somebody was fighting, somebody beefing. Y'all don't want to hear about that. And I think Nicki needs to understand that too. These content creators are going to talk about the shit that puts money in their pocket. Not the docket, as she kept referring to. That's the way the game goes. And number two, you heard Akademiks also say, me and Nicki don't have the best relationship. Now you got this fight against Rock Nation and Jay-Z. This was the ironic thing about that space she was in the other day, because she said, well, when these media people go against these people, we not going to support them. Yeah, that's ironic because you going against them and now the media ain't rocking with you because of shit you've done in the past or bridges that you broke or burned. You had a chance to be cool with Akademiks. You don't F with him. You had a chance to be cool with other bloggers. You disrespected them and shit on them. There was a narrative about Nicki years ago that if you was in media saying certain stuff that she didn't like, she would try to get you fired. These are the things that the barbs don't mention. And that doesn't mean that she hasn't helped artists. That doesn't mean that she hasn't uplifted a lot of different people and gave back. But it just is what it is. She's done a lot of good, and some people would say she's done a lot of negative as well. And that's what you see in this situation with Akademiks. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but because of our past history, I'm not going to just be out here putting my neck on the line for you. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.